If you actually understand Andromeda, you will scale your Facebook and Instagram ads faster than ever. Hi, I'm Charlie, and across my brands and clients and agencies, I've managed over $1 billion in ad spend over the last decade, and I help advertisers scale faster and more profitably on Meta. In this video, I'm going to expose how the new algorithm actually works, how Facebook decides who sees your ads, and how you can make sure the right person sees the right ad at the right time so you can make a lot more money. To show you how the machine works, we're going to use a visual aid today. These are some playing cards. Now, each one of them represents one ad. And if we have an ad set with 5 ads, well, we would need 5 cards. Okay. Now, we understand that the machine is ultimately not trying to serve one ad to one person, because personalization is all about somebody's journey through all of the touch points, all of the ads, all organic content in every order, to find the best experience for each individual person. So because the customer journey is more than one touch point, what does it look like to have every possible combination of how you move through these 5 ads? There are, surprisingly enough, 120 ways to do this. You can shuffle this 5-card deck 120 different ways. That's fine. Now, that's a little bit bigger of a number than I thought, but sure, 120. That's reasonable. At a $20 CPM, that's less than a cup of coffee. Got it. So what if we add 5 more ads? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, we're a no king's household here, so let's get rid of that junk. And because we're looking at 10 ads, let's pull 4 10s and a joker. Now, you might think, well, that's going to double the number. Or maybe we're going to get clever and say, oh, well, it's not double, it's going to be more than that. Perhaps it's 10 times more. Well, that's not even close. With 10 ads, that number jumps to 3.6 million possible combinations. Now again, it's a really smart system. It's using signals that don't necessarily need to show every ad in every order to everyone to know how to do things. This still feels reasonable, okay? Andromeda is smart. We're gonna get good at this. I still have faith that we can get the job done. This is probably more than we need, but okay. Now, what if we use the whole deck? What if it's 52 cards? Well, that number is massive. And I'm going to show you this number. I'm going to type it into ChatGPT here right now, just to show you how many different ways you can shuffle a 52-card deck. And if you notice, this number takes a moment to compute. Just to show it on the screen takes some time. Now, I think most people have no ability to understand how to see that number because it's crazy. I certainly don't. There's no polygon, no legion of polygons that I could draw that would probably communicate a number like that. There's no chart, no dashboard. It's inconceivable. So in an example that I found from one of my favorite YouTube channels, Secret Base with John Boyce, what I'm going to do is try to represent this as visually as I can with the medium that we have here today. So what's the smallest unit of something I'm capable of showing you on YouTube? That would be a pixel. So if I look at the screen, it's black. All but one point. That one little white dot, that's 1 pixel. I present my videos on YouTube at 1080p at 30 frames per second, so that's 62 million pixels every second. And here's one of them. That little dot, that's 1 pixel. That one little dot, that's 1 ad. Now, what I want you to notice here is that as each frame progresses, every second that goes by, you're seeing 62 million pixels, okay? Here's the thing. If you took this video and made it as long as the entire time the universe has existed, and then you multiply that by 1 trillion, and then you multiply that by 1 trillion, and then you multiply that by 1 trillion again, it still wouldn't be enough pixels to show you all of the ways your 52 ads could get shown. And somewhere in that chaos, your little ad is raising its hand saying, pick me. And this is so important because the order of magnitude of difficulty of what you're asking the machine to do is something we need to appreciate. So with that in mind, let's zoom all the way back in. and talk about how the machine figures that math out so that you can know how best to use it in a way that means you can rely on it to get the job done every single time. To understand how the machine does this job, we need to understand how the machine learns to do the job that we want it to do in the first place. And for most people, they think this starts with the pixel being seasoned or trained or learning. But the thing is, the pixel doesn't learn. The pixel doesn't know anything. It's just a piece of code. It's the paper a vote is written on. The paper itself has no idea what you're voting for, but the system counting the votes knows who won the election. That's how Meta passes information back and forth. It's a conduit. When we say the pixel is learning, what's actually happening is the system is learning based on all of the behavioral data it's collecting from your ads, your ad sets, your campaign, your website, your page, and your Instagram account. Those are all of the things that actually learn. Each one of those layers has its own data with its own audience memory. Your Facebook page knows who interacts with it. Your Instagram account knows what kind of content people engage with. Your ad account has a record of who's buying and, well, who doesn't. And together, that forms the foundation of what Meta knows about your brand and your buyer. It's just like how YouTube knows who to show your videos to. If you post on a consistent topic, YouTube knows exactly who loves your stuff. Thanks for the views, by the way. Go ahead and hit like and subscribe. Appreciate it. Meta works the same way. The only difference is that organic distribution is free, and paid distribution is the same system, you're just paying to use it. That's why you'll sometimes see two brands running basically identical ads, and one scales and one doesn't. The difference isn't the creative, it's the system behind it. One account is trained to know who the right audience is, and the other isn't. My buddy Matt at Javi Coffee uses this exquisitely. He's built multiple Facebook pages, each with its own personality, an audience profile, and he runs ads from each. And I'm talking ads. He's pushing 46 million a month. Every page has its own separate identity, and the system can match those personas to completely different buyers. That's how scaling for Javi Coffee works in reality. You're not just testing more ads, you're training more identities inside of Meta's system. So when we talk about the algorithm learning, we're not talking about the pixel getting smarter. We're talking about Meta understanding what kind of experience people are having on your ads, on your pages, and off the platform entirely. Because once somebody actually sees your ad, that's when the real learning actually starts. Every ad you make, every single one, is just another web page inside of Facebook or Instagram's ecosystem. When somebody scrolls their feed, Meta isn't just showing them random posts. It's essentially showing them search results. The same way that Google shows you the most relevant links. Only here, you're not typing something into a search bar. Meta already knows what you're looking for. Facebook and Instagram are constantly measuring what happens on every one of those pages and every one of those results. It's measuring the click-through rate, the bounce rate, the time spent viewing, the engagement, and even what happens after somebody clicks on any link and leaves the platform. It's analyzing that in the same way that Google is trying to figure out which search result to show first. If people scroll past your content, either organic or a paid ad, immediately that's a bad result. If they watch, engage, or click and spend time on your site, well, that's a good result. And that's where a lot of advertisers lose. They only optimize for the click, but Meta is optimizing for the whole experience. If somebody clicks on your ad and then bounces right off your site, the algorithm doesn't see that as a success. It sees that as a bad experience. You might have spent money and driven traffic in some conversion campaign, but the machine will see you as a liability. Because Meta's job is to keep people on its platforms longer and to make sure that when they leave, they come back. If your ad sends people off the platform and their experience sucks, you're not just losing a conversion. You're not just pissing people off. You're creating a bad user signal that makes your entire ad account more expensive. But if that same person enjoys their experience, If they explore your site and fire multiple pixels all over the place, maybe even buys, that's a positive signal. Now you've built more trust with the system. That's why you'll sometimes see ads with high CPMs or heavy frequencies or things marked with fatigue still perform incredibly well. It's not because they're winning the auction. It's because Meta has learned that those ads create very specific positive experiences for very specific people. They convert, they retain those users, and they drive repeat actions nearly on demand. And the algorithm rewards that. It doesn't care that your ad sends people off the platform. It cares whether those people come back happier than when they left. If they do, you'll scale cheaper, faster, and further. If they don't, your costs will climb until you stop being a risk. So what looks like random fluctuations in performance is actually Meta's way of defending its own business model. It's protecting user experience, because every bad experience costs them users, and every good experience earns them data they can use to make better predictions. And that brings us to the next part of the system, how the ads, ad sets, and campaigns work together to decide who sees what, and why some accounts can scale endlessly, while others seem to just constantly hit the wall. So let's break that down. Inside of your ad account, every campaign is built with 3 layers: the campaign, the ad set, and the ads themselves. And understanding what each one does is the difference between scaling efficiently and fighting the algorithm every single day. The ad is what the customer actually sees. It's your sales pitch. It's the creative, the copy, the promise, everything that interacts with the actual end user. The ad set is the system's way of deciding which ad to show to which person. Think of it as a decision layer. It tests, it rotates, it learns which ads performs best for each type of user, depending on where they are in the funnel and who they are to your business. And finally, the campaign sits above all of that. That's the level that decides where your budget goes, which ad set gets priority, and which audience to pursue, and how to allocate spend based on the ability of delivering a consistent result. When you give Meta a goal, say purchases, the campaign's job is to figure out which ad set can deliver that result most consistently. And that result is for the end user. Then, at the ad set, Meta figures out which ad can create the best experience and hit the goal that you set. That's the entire system: the goal, the strategy, the execution, and what's happening in real time. Now here is where advertisers really start to break things. Every time you add new ads into an ad set, Meta has to learn how those ads fit into this entire complicated decision process. It's not resetting, it has to relearn. The system has to reestablish confidence in which ads are most predictable and reliable. Because remember, Meta's entire objective is consistency of end user experience. It wants homeostasis. It wants predictable delivery, stable, positive user experiences. When you dump a lot of new ads into a live ad set, you're introducing a ton of chaos and instability into what was otherwise a confident delivery system for positive experiences. That's why you'll see the learning phase kick back in. The system is recalibrating. It's testing new pitches and rediscovering what works, and it's testing those new ads at the bottom of the funnel to see how things work. And this is why creative testing needs structure. If you test without isolating variables, you're making the system start over every single time, and you're going to get a ton of false positives while losing all of the statistical significance and confidence the machine is built. But if you let it learn in a controlled environment, Meta will not only learn faster, but it'll make better decisions at every single level. So think of it like this. The ad is what convinces the person ultimately to do something and earns their attention. The ad set is what decides which ad to show, and the campaign decides which ad set to get the spend. If you build that hierarchy cleanly and give the system the opportunity of getting confidence, it will reward you with cheaper traffic of higher quality more consistently so that you can scale faster. But when you constantly reset it, you're forcing the system to relearn the same lessons you already paid for. That's why great media buyers don't just manage ads. They manage stability. They build systems the algorithm can trust to bring the same type of user in over and over again so the rest of your business model can take advantage of that traffic that you've made every decision that happens after the click on, from optimization to AOV to LTV. Now let's talk about one of the most misunderstood pieces of all, budget control. Because the way you set your budgets determines how much freedom the machine has to do its job. Here's the truth. Every time you try to control the system, you make it a little bit worse at doing what it's built to do. You can put up guardrails, but absolute control is a problem. When you set ad set budget optimization, or ABO, you're telling Meta exactly how much money each ad set must spend every single day. It sounds like control, but what you're really doing is removing the machine's ability to make intelligent decisions in real time. Think of the campaign as the decision maker. Its job is to look across all of your ad sets and decide which one is producing the best result right now. And this is happening in microseconds, millions of times a day. When you run ABO, you take that control away. You're forcing every ad set to spend a set number, even the ones that aren't working, on days where it might be good or bad. And when that happens, you create waste and frustration and a ton of bad user experiences. Each ad set still has to spend the budget you've assigned, even if it's targeting the wrong people, or running bad ads, or just underperforming in the auction. Even if you're just pissing a whole bunch of people off. You're forcing bad ads to keep running and starving the good ones that could be scaling. And remember what we said earlier. Meta's goal is consistency. It wants predictable delivery and a good end user experience. When you lock budgets at the ad set level, you take away its ability to balance those experiences in real time. By the way, the same thing happens if you have multiple campaigns. Now, when you set the budget at the campaign level and you isolate around one campaign per business objective, you're doing the opposite. You're giving the campaign manager freedom to move money wherever performance is best. You're saying, here's the goal. You decide how to get there. The campaign looks across every ad set, sees which one is producing the best results for the lowest cost, which one can talk to the right person on auctions you could win right now, and automatically shifts the spend to it in real time. Again, millions of times in microseconds. That means your budget naturally finds efficiency instead of being trapped in underperforming segments. It allows you to be proactive instead of reactive. That's why Advantage Plus and CBO systems always outperform manual control at scale. They're not guessing, they're optimizing dynamically using data you could never process on your own. Stuff you could never conceive of. And the bigger your account gets, the more critical this becomes. Because as you scale, you're not just managing more ads, you're managing more complexity. The machine can see patterns across millions of impressions and billions of people across every ad set, every audience, every time of day. You can't. No human can. And that's why Meta built Andromeda, to build a smarter mousetrap to control all of this chaos. People just spamming the machine. It's a smarter, faster way to make sure the right person sees the right ad at the right time without you needing to guess or interfere. And the only thing standing between you and better performance is how much you try to control it. So if you want to scale, stop trying to be the algorithm. Your job is not to outthink or hack or micromanage the machine. Your job is to train it and then trust it. You give it clean data, clear goals, and the freedom to make intelligent decisions and learn. And it'll outpace anything you can do manually, and it will keep getting better over time. And that's the real power of CBO and why Advantage Plus isn't some new tech. It's the inevitable evolution of Meta doing what it does best, learning faster than you can, on more data than anybody else on the face of the planet. The truth here is simple. The machine doesn't need more ads or more rules or more guesses or more micromanagement from you. It needs more clarity and more opportunity to learn. It needs clean data and good experiences and consistent signals. That's how you scale. Not by adding complexity, but by removing it. Simple scales, complex fails. That's the foundation of everything we've been talking about today and this entire channel. And in the next video, I'm going to show you exactly how to apply it. Because while most advertisers are still weaponizing volume of ads, you are going to learn how to weaponize data, to scale with precision, to make the algorithm your ally, to grow when everybody else is guessing. That next video, it's the playbook for success. It's how you scale when everybody else is stuck. And it's how you finally win by making the complex simple. So until next time, I'll see you on the internet. Bye.